Hello, everyone. Are we live? Everybody see this? Hey. Hello, Raymond. All right, so we are actually not on Twitch right now because someone hacked my Twitch account. Someone from Russia. Somebody in Russia hacked my Twitch account, and I'm not able to access it. It's really annoying, and whoever's hacking into my account, I will look for you, and I will find you. I'm gonna find you. So I just wanted to tell you that, and I will use all my skills on you. I will mess you up. I will make you wish you never knew my name. Hey, Joe. Hey, Kenneth. Hey, Mike. Do I game? I don't game. I don't know how to play any video games. I never did, like, ever. Maybe when I was, like, really, really, really little, my dad bought me a Nintendo set, and I vaguely remember playing, but that's it. It seems like fun. It really seems like a lot of fun. But I don't know, like, I kind of want to get into it, but I feel like I'm too old to even start. Anyway, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing on this beautiful Friday night? I have not played Pokemon Go. I have not played Pokemon Go. So, where am I coming from? Am I going out tonight? Hey Felix, I want to go out, but I don't know if I'll make it because my place is a wreck. It's just insane. It's like a hurricane happened here, and I still have to fix things and pack and all that stuff. So, I don't know if I'll get to go out and have fun. But I was reading this story online. It seems like Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton are having another fight because they keep fighting. They've been fighting since forever. Felix says, what is there in DC to do other than go to bars? There's nothing to do other than go to bars and drink. In fact, that's the only thing people here do. So unless you just decide that you're not drinking at all, you're gonna be an alcoholic. You're gonna live like an alcoholic because all these people who live in DC, all these people who live here are freaking alcoholics. They all are either addicted to drugs or alcohol or something. They're all just like miserable, no life, soulless people. They're just like, I have to have another drink. I have to have another drink. And if you don't have another drink, then you just feel weird. You just feel like not really part of it, part of whatever is going on. So you have to have a drink unless you decide that you are not going to drink at all. Then you have an excuse. Otherwise, people will like really, but come on, just another drink, just another drink. Clyde's is cool. Clyde's is not very, it's a little fancier. It's a little nicer, Clyde's. I love Irish bars. I love like everything. I love Irish bars. They're just the best. And I love that they always have like an Irish band playing. This little jolly old person with a piano. It's really funny. So, Irish pub, sorry. I'm not tired. I can't sleep tonight because I just have way too much to do. DC is like if you can look this up, I'm not making this shit up. Go online and see Washington, D.C. has the highest rate of alcoholism, people who are alcoholics, and it's the highest rate of people with mental illnesses. The highest rate of people with mental illnesses in Washington, D.C. It's the highest proportion, okay? And so alcohol and mental illness together, imagine what that is. Combined with, it's also the city with the highest concentration of lawyers. Imagine a city, the highest concentration of lawyers, the highest amount of alcoholics, and the highest level of mental illnesses. Imagine that. Imagine how crazy it is. And just insane crime, and there's a lot of homeless people, and it is full of people who are here for power. So that's like, imagine what I'm living in. That's what I'm living in. Magashi Mofo says, are you the only one with a shitty Wi-Fi connection? Does anyone have problems with their Wi-Fi? This isn't on Twitch, so if you are on Twitch, you won't be able to see this because there's a problem with my Twitch and I have to fix it. Kenneth says, what is good about DC? There are good things about DC, which is why I came here. One of the good things is that there's a lot of jobs. So if you want a job and you are not like yet alienated from society, DC is a great place to be, and they're good jobs. There are a lot of good paying, decent paying jobs. You won't get higher than like it depends where you work. If you're working on Capitol Hill, you're not gonna get like a great paying job. You're gonna get paid shit for like your entire life of working there. I met an Uber driver the other day, my Uber driver, who was working in the Senate her entire career life. She was working in the Senate. And she wasn't making shit. She was my Uber driver. So not that like you're not making shit if you're an Uber driver, it's just that like if you were working your entire life in the Senate and you're like an old lady now, there are good things about DC. So there are a lot of jobs available. There are a lot there, and they're good opportunities. There are opportunities like you're in the capital of the free world, right? Like you're in the capital of the most powerful country in the world. You have a power just by being here and interacting with some of the people here who are very high profile. You have the power to influence the future of the country, the future of politics, the future of like media. You have so much power at your fingertips for being here, and that's why a lot of people come here, especially people who are power hungry. And it's also a really nice place. So you come here, you feel important, everything is really clean. There are so many young people. It's such a transient city, so there are a lot of young people. If you're in your 20s, it's a lot of fun because you just get to hang out with people all the time and just go crazy. Just go out and go crazy. And so there's a lot of that. What else is there in DC? It's close to everything. It's like, you know, you can go to New York, you can go to Philly, you can go to, I mean, it's not close to New York, but kind of, you're on the East Coast, so it's kind of close to everything, and it's where all like a lot of corporations are. So there are interesting things. It's interesting. You know, you also get to be around a lot of the political stuff. So if you like politics, it's good for that. You can go and cover a lot of major stories. Tulsa, you're unfollowing me because I said like. Come on. This is like the uncoolest thing ever. The African American Museum is great. Who said that? LA Child. So yeah, I actually have not experienced that one because it is actually really popular here. I've never been there, and I tried, and every time I went, it's, you know, because it's close to everything, so I pass by it a lot, and every time I go, I'm always too late. They say you have to be here at 6 a.m. in order to get tickets, and who's out at 6 a.m.? Not me. Because they get sold out, the tickets get sold out really quickly, so you have to go really early in order to get it. Hey, from Seattle. So what did I come here for? I came here originally I actually wanted to go and live in New York. Corbin says, who cares about DC? Insult some more housewives. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. But first of all, let me tell you how I ended up in DC. So I ended up in DC because I first wanted to live in New York. I wanted to get out of LA. New York was like the only thing I could think of because I had friends living in New York. So I'm from LA. I actually wanted to live anywhere, not New York. I wanted to live anywhere that wasn't LA. I just wanted to get out. And then New York sounded like a cool option because I have friends there. So I tried to live in New York, and in fact, I went and lived in New York. I tried for months to get a job in New York. Even before I left LA, I was trying for months to get a job there. I applied to everything. I really, really, really tried hard, and I even went to New York and lived there for a couple months. It was a miserable experience, and I couldn't find any jobs. I was, I was kicked out of 2 places that I was subletting from, each one because, there was some other problem. One of them had some sort of problem with her rent. The other one decided that she was going to come back from her vacation early, and it's like, it was so miserable. And just disgusting places, parts of the city because, not even far out. I was in the city, in New York City, in Manhattan, but just, because I didn't want to pay an insane amount for rent, so I was paying a little cheaper, and they were just disgusting. Mice everywhere. There was a mouse in one of the places where I was subletting. It was like 5 girls living in one tiny, tiny apartment, and we found a mouse. At some point, it was under my bed. I was going nuts. And we had to chase it around until we caught it inside an oven, and we turned on the oven so that it should die. And it was like, we were just horrible because we just murdered a mouse live in an oven, burned a mouse alive, and it was also disgusting, and everything about it was disgusting. There was mold everywhere. The place smelled. I didn't feel safe walking outside. Everything was cold and gross, and the weather was gross, and I'd come home feeling disgusting, and I'd come out of the shower feeling disgusting, and even the shower didn't help, and everyone was just rude and crazy all the time. There was no time to have fun and enjoy yourself because the entire time you're traveling and going crazy and just going everywhere, but you're not actually anywhere, and you're not actually getting anything done even though you're running around the whole time. And everyone else is working too, and it takes forever to go to Long Island, where my relatives lived. It was just an insane ride getting on the Long Island Railroad, and I was just miserable all the time. Until, at some point, my friend, and there's so many people, so many people. I can't stand it. So much noise, so many people. I just want to go crazy. And then at some point, and also like it felt lonely because when there's so many people around and they're all busy and working hard and not with you, but they're all around you, but you're not actually connecting with any of them, you just feel lonely. You'd rather be with a small group of people, but like connecting with them. That's how humans are built. Humans are not made for big cities with a million people that you're not connecting with. Humans are made for smaller communities that you can connect with other people in your communities. That's where I want to live in the future. Like, I want to live, I'm not going to live in a big city. I'm going to probably like travel to big cities a lot, but I don't want to live in a big city. I want to live in a cool place where I can actually know who my neighbors are, and I won't feel like scared to have my kids running around in the neighborhood. I won't feel scared that some crazy person will like rape them in the street, and they'll actually know the neighbors. So that's what I want. But at the time, New York City sounded like it made sense because it was like the only place I could think of. It was the only place I had friends. And so I went there, and then, so my friend's husband was the assistant rabbi at a synagogue in the Hamptons. And it was like a fancy, really cool synagogue, and they had like a part of the synagogue. There was like a little, like a mini built like a little house that was part of, like, it was part of the synagogue. It was like their old, like, for a different, whatever. It was part of the synagogue. It was really old, and it had like beds in it, and no one was living there. And my friend let me basically live there until I figured things out. So I went in with all my stuff, and then it became like a thing. We had other friends who needed a place to live. We had this girl who was like an orphan, and she needed a place to be in. And then there was this other guy who was like a nomad, and he didn't know where he was living, and he decided to go live in Thailand. And then he didn't have anywhere to be. So we were all living in this house, this old house together. It was so much fun. We would go, and it was like, you know, it was in the Hamptons, so we would go to the beach. We would just go and hang out there and have a beer and just enjoy ourselves and just not care about anything, just live life. And we didn't have to pay for anything because it was a small Hampton community. So everybody knew each other, and we knew all the neighbors. We knew every single person in that little small town. We knew all the cops. We knew everybody. We knew all the store owners. We knew the people working in, there's this one cafe that everybody went to. Just one cafe. It was the cafe of the beach town. We all went to the same one. We knew every single person who worked there. We were there every single day. We knew the names of every single person who would come in. It was a dream life. It was so much fun. But we weren't always there because we didn't have to pay for food, because we had the people living in the town were always inviting us to their places. Every night, dinner at a different place. And these weren't like, it wasn't like a small town, and it wasn't like a grungy old town. It was a fancy small town. So we were going to dinner to these nice houses, people who were taking care of us, and they were nice houses. They were nice dinners. They were very educated people. It was, and it wasn't like, oh, they were educated, and, you know, I'm not being like an education elitist. It was that they were all interesting. There were just a lot of artists and interesting and cool people, mostly old people. So they treated us like their grandkids. They would take care of us. They're, you know, like one of our friends got really sick, and they took care of him. They let him sleep. One of the neighbors let him sleep in their place and took care of him as if he was their child. It was just a dream life. And then it ended. And we all had to leave because I don't even remember why we left. But then finally, after months, like towards the end of the summer, well, toward the end of summer, I went and was part of this conference, and they let me stay in this fancy ass hotel in the middle of New York City, in very expensive part of the city, and it was interesting. I met people, and they paid us to be there. It was pretty cool. And then after that, and someone at the conference was like, "Hey, I heard about this fellowship and they pay really well, and why don't you apply? It starts in 2 weeks, but who knows, maybe you'll get it." So I applied to the fellowship, and lo and behold, within a few days, I get a call, and they were interested, and they're like, "Where are you right now?" I said, "New York City. Can you come in for an interview?" "Sure." I take a bus to Washington, D.C., do a one-day trip, early in the morning, take a bus to Washington, D.C., have the interview. It was my first time actually going there, other than this one time I was in Virginia, but I don't know if Virginia counts. So it was my first time, like, really, really going there and seeing the place. I went and looked around for a place to live. I couldn't find anything. I ended up finding someone on Facebook, but in less than 2 weeks, I had a suitcase of all my stuff, and I moved to Washington, D.C. So that's how I ended up in Washington, D.C. And I lived there, and I moved here for this fellowship. It was the weirdest experience ever. And then, I'll tell you about this fellowship a different time, but it was actually a lot of fun. Like, I made some really cool connections, but it was just a weird experience. It was not a normal fellowship, and but it was pretty good. And then I just hopped around from one media company to another, just working in media companies, conservative, like, mainstream conservative media companies, and then eventually, and I started business school, and eventually I'm here. Okay, so this is a fake water plant. This is not a real plant, a fake plant. So yeah, it was not a cult. It could have been a cult. So this live stream is supposed to be about Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. So I'll say something about Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. And then I will go on to the beautiful topic of housewives. Ba-dum-ba-dum! Were my roommates hygienic? I don't remember. Were they hygienic? Actually, no. We also, like, most of us actually didn't have money. So we would go and shop at this, like, hand-me-down store that was in that little town. And all their clothes for like $1 each or something. Just secondhand shop. So remember, Felix says, remember when Lindsay went to Turkey and wore a hijab. So Lindsay Lohan is not a Muslim. She never converted to Islam. In case you were wondering, why is Lindsay Lohan, why does her Instagram page say Assalamu alaikum? And why is she wearing a hijab in a bunch of photos? And why is she like, why does she suddenly have an Arabic accent? But it's not a real Arabic accent. It's like if you were just have never heard like an Arabic person talk, and you're like this teenage white girl who's like imitating Arabs, and you're just, hello, how are you doing? I tell you, I'm here. I'm here in your land. Welcome to my country. I'm very, very nice to meet you. She is embarrassing for women. Yeah. Anyway, so one of your comments is just really weird. Snap freakiest. Your comment is really weird. Uh, uh, okay, so Lindsay Lohan is crazy and Paris Hilton is baby. Lindsay Lohan is a fake and a just like she's every bad stereotype of old hippie white ladies who have been living in in Oakland, in San Francisco, for 100 years, in the same little house, and with just plants all over the inside of their house, and never changed the rug for 100 years. That's what Lindsay Lohan is. Lindsay Lohan is she was in I think this was London, dressed in her fake ass Arab clothes, pretending to be an Arab, okay? Because that's her new persona that she's adopted, because she's now like this hippie, finding herself, but somehow it involves and she wants to become one with the world, but somehow that involves pretending to be an Arab lady, and she has this fake accent, right? And then she is, I believe, in London, okay? And she sees an Arab refugee family. She sees a refugee family, parents and kids, sitting on the corner of a street, like homeless. But I don't know if, yeah, they were homeless. They were like, they weren't like regular homeless people. Like they had their kids, they were taking care of their kids. They looked like just refugee, you know, just came to the country or something. And she sees this refugee family and she assumes that the parents are kidnappers and they're kidnapping these kids. She assumes that they're trafficking children, and she like tries to get the kids away from the parents. She goes, come here, come here. Are they taking you away from your parents? I'm actually doing a way better Arab accent than she was doing. It was come here, come with me. Why are they taking you? Why? Come here. I will give you a better life. Come with me. Take my hand. Take my hand. I give you candy. Come in my truck. And she posted a video, a Instagram live video on Instagram to show everybody that she's saving these poor refugee kids from these traffickers who happen to be their parents. It was so embarrassing and so crazy, and the parents are like, who are you? Get away from us. They're taking their kids. And she's like, come with me. I give you a better life. And it's like the dumbest thing ever. Lindsay Lohan is just the worst stereotype of a fake ass liberal white woman who sees like Arabs and thinks everybody is Aladdin. Come with me. And she just wants to help all the refugees, the refugee children who are being trafficked. She's trying to be Angelina Jolie. King Destroyer says that's very true. She's not a Trump supporter. Lindsay Lohan is a meth addict. Lindsay Lohan is what happens to you when you get high when you do meth, okay? Meth makes people like there are so many different types of drugs where I'm just like, wow, that's like a really crazy drug, but I understand why you'd want to do it if you're miserable. Like heroin is pretty bad, right? And people who do heroin usually have a very difficult time coming back. But I get it. Like if you're like suicidal and whatever, and life is just not worth living anymore, then and heroin is like the only thing that can get you out of that, and you just feel great and just live in just total euphoric state, then okay, maybe I'll get that. But meth, why would you do that to yourself? I don't get. People who do meth are already have like legitimately messed up already. They're messed up and they're methed up. I actually met, okay, anyways. Okay, I'm not going to judge every single person who's done meth, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to do a drug, don't do meth. Like, do something that at least doesn't make you look like shit. Do heroin. Okay, someone's gonna take this clip and, you know, Pardes is a heroin advocate. So, can you imagine how many people are doing drugs in this country and it's all like illegal? Like, imagine if someone was caught and put in prison, but it's always like the random people who get caught for like the dumbest thing, for like marijuana. Isn't that crazy? Shrooms should be legal everywhere. Magic mushrooms and psychedelics in general should be legal. There's no reason why psychedelics should be illegal anywhere. It's just crazy. It's just total. It's a total like. Anyways. So anyway, Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan are fighting. Okay, Paris Hilton is so great. She's so funny, and she's really the best. She's hilarious. I just want to be her. And she and Lindsay Lohan, just from the way that they fight, you can tell just from the way that Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan fight that Lindsay Lohan is just a total fake, wimpy faker. She's just totally fake and wimpy. And anyway, so they're having this fight. They've been fighting ever since they were kids. Paris Hilton is just totally blunt and says whatever she's feeling and thinking. I remember one time she was on this interview and she's like, it was, what was her name? Jenny McCarthy, I think that was her name. That's hot. She asked her, have you ever been dumped? And she goes, I have never been dumped. I only dump people, but I never get dumped. And anyone who says that they dumped me is just lying, because I dumped them. I dumped them all. So she's just very very confident, and she just doesn't care, and she's just very blunt and says whatever she wants. And so they ask this some TV show, ATV, I don't know, but they ask her what she thinks about Lindsay Lohan, and she goes, well, she's beyond lame and embarrassing. She says that about Lindsay Lohan. And Lindsay Lohan, because she's a fake-ass biatch, she posts this Instagram post that's still up, by the way, of her and Paris Hilton, and it goes like hashtag beyond best friends at Paris Hilton, and it's just the weirdest thing ever. It's like the most passive-aggressive thing ever. Why would you do that? But she's not, it's not like she was being sincere. It's not like she was being like, oh, I love Paris. It's like she is such a fake-ass virtue signal person. She's the kind of person who will try to get refugee children away from their parents just to show everybody that she's saving refugee kids, human traffickers, okay? She's such a fake virtue signaler, okay? She will respond to Paris Hilton's very, very, like, blunt insult. She will respond to that with a passive-aggressive hashtag best friends at Paris Hilton with a picture of herself with Paris. What a fake. What a, righteous attention whore. Like, I like Paris because she doesn't care. She doesn't care to come off as the bad guy. And you might say, well, Paris is so ignorant. She said all these nice things about herself. She said that she's the best and she's the prettiest and she's only she dumps the guys. The guys never dump her. Well, that's words. But if you look at people's actions, just because someone praises themselves, it doesn't mean they're arrogant. Just because someone is self-deprecating, just because someone doesn't praise themselves, humble bragging is not humble. Humble bragging is not humble. Passive-aggressive fighting with people, like killing people with kindness, that's not kind. That's not humble. That's called, you just want to be the good guy. You just want to be, you just are so obsessed with people thinking that you're the good guy in every single situation. It's all about how righteous you are, and it's so cringy, and it just totally drives me nuts. That's all it's about for Lindsay Lohan. That's why she's just so unlikable. She's like the opposite of Paris. Paris is just so cool, and she's humble because she's willing to be the bad guy. She's just like, I don't care. Here, this is me. I throw random insults at people. And Lindsay Lohan is like, well, I'm not going to reduce myself to that level. But she won't even say that. She won't be honest. She will do this passive-aggressive, fake-ass, like, hashtag best friends. And, sorry. Yeah, so, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. But, yeah, that's why Paris Hilton rocks, and she's way better. She's way cooler. And I would not want to be having drinks with Lindsay Lohan. Like, if you paid, maybe if you paid me. Maybe if you paid me, I would. But other than that, I would not sit. Well, it also depends how much you'd pay me. Other than that, I would not hang around with Lindsay Lohan. So people are saying famous people are miserable and sad. I don't think Paris Hilton is miserable and sad, to be honest. I think Lindsay Lohan is miserable and sad. I don't think Paris Hilton is miserable and sad. Oh, and it's so funny because, so basically, you know, Paris Hilton was slammed for saying this about Lindsay, for calling her lame and embarrassing. And so she, like, this is Paris Hilton's apology. She goes, My mom told me that, she goes, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. My mom told me that if you have nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. And it was just the sweetest jab at Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan is the kind of person who will steal food from a market. I'm just saying. But then if she gets caught, she'll be like, I was saving it for the refugee kids, for the refugee children. I was giving it to the poor trafficked children. And then she'll go kidnap these kids from their parents and be like, I was saving the refugee children from the traffickers. Self-righteous. Okay, so a couple days ago, since you guys really wanted to hear this, since you wanted to hear this so badly, a couple days ago, I very stupidly thought that these dumbass bitches aren't dumb. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say bad words on YouTube, but I don't know. So anyway, so I make a comment about how it wasn't about everybody. It was a conversation about Jeff Bezos and his ex, who got half of his fortune, okay? Jeff Bezos, $150 billion. Billion, not million. Billion, okay? His ex-wife gets half of that fortune. His ex-wife gets half of that fortune, okay? And for doing shit, nothing. She literally, she got that fortune for having married him, okay? And the hard-earned money that he made, and then she gives half of what she got to charity, which is amazing. It's amazing to give half of what you got to charity. But also, it's not so amazing because she wasn't the one who made that money. Her husband was the one who made that money with his blood and sweat and tears. She didn't actually make that money. So when you didn't actually work for the money, it's much easier to spend it, especially if you have never worked a day in your life. When I say worked, I mean worked for money. So all you dumbass bitches who are like, but I work so hard. I'm a housewife and I take such good care of my children. You know, my sister-in-law, she's also a housewife and she takes care of her 3 little darlings, Martha and Molly and Moo, and she works so hard every day of her life. And it's like, shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear your little stories about what a great mom you are and how much you take care of your children and you're working hard. It's like go away. Go away. I'm just having a conversation that you're literally not listening to because you just came on my timeline just to brag about what a great mom you are and how hard you work. It's like, go take that shit somewhere else, okay? I'm talking about working for money, okay? There seems to be a disconnect. If you are a housewife who has never worked a day in your life, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying I grew up around a lot of housewives who, when I say have never worked a day in their lives, I mean have never created wealth, have never had any sort of income that they worked for. When I say income, I mean money. I'm not talking about working for your children, taking care of your children. I mean have never made money one day in your entire life, okay? I'm not talking about working hard as a mother, okay? If you're going to make that kind of comment, go away. I don't want to hear you. Go and just go and like nurse your child or something. Your child is being neglected by you being here, okay? So go away. I don't want to hear you. You don't understand what I'm saying. And I don't want dumbasses on my feed, okay? I don't want you bragging about how great motherhood is. That wasn't my point at all. I wasn't talking about moms, okay? Are you guys trolling me? Are you guys trolling me by being here and talking about what a great mom you are? I don't want to hear that. If you're sitting here talking about what a great mom you are, you're here on Twitter watching this stream instead of going and taking care of your kids, you are obviously not a great mom. Bye. Go away. Get off my feed. Okay. So I make this tweet about if you never worked a day in your life for income, for money, I'm not talking about taking care of your kids, but I'm talking about if you never worked for money a day in your life, then you might have a harder time appreciating the money. You're not a bad mom, you're not lazy, you're not whatever. You will have a harder time appreciating the money that your husband made. It's natural to feel that way. And I also made the same comment about men, and I don't know how your life is. I don't want to hear your virtue signaling about how great a parent you are. Go away and take that story to some other person who gives a shit. I grew up around a lot of people who the mom literally never worked for money a day in their life. The dad literally never spent a day at home with the kids. And the two never understood each other's problems. The men took for granted that their kids were just totally raised by another person that wasn't them. It was totally raised by their wife. And the wife will, and it's not a bad relationship. It's not like, oh, it's a bad relationship. But I'm just saying, like, if you're a woman in that relationship, you are going to be way more free spending with the money than your husband is. It's just the way that it is. You're more likely to spend money that you didn't actually work for, even if it's yours. But if you didn't actually like go to the office and work for it, you're much more likely to spend it more easily, even if it's your money also. If you didn't like sweat and have tears over it, you're much likely to spend it more easily. Jeff Bezos is not giving half his fortune to charity. Not because Jeff Bezos is stingy. I mean, Jeff Bezos is probably stingy, but like, not because Jeff Bezos is stingy. Jeff Bezos is not giving half his fortune to charity because Jeff Bezos was the one who actually worked for that money and like did just work like crazy for that money. Jeff Bezos is not giving half his fortune to charity. His ex-wife is gonna give half her fortune to charity. She is not attached to that money because even though it's hers, it's very much hers. She did not sweat to make that money. She's doing a great thing, but I'm just saying, like, she's giving away half her fortune that she didn't actually make. She didn't create that wealth. Her ex did. Her husband did. So when you say that well, she worked just as hard. Being a housewife is, it's great. It's hard. It's hard. Okay? I agree with you. I don't want to hear your stupid virtue signal stories about what a great parent you were, what a great spouse you were. Go away, take that shit somewhere else. Go to like your church and give a speech about what a great parent you were, okay? I don't want to hear it. I'm talking about Jeff Bezos, his ex, okay? However great of a housewife you are, if you're Jeff Bezos, you're not going to spend your hard-earned money the way that his ex, I forgot her name, Kathy or whatever, the way that his ex will spend the money, because she's not attached. She's not attached to the money because it's hers. It's just as equally hers, but she did not create it. She did not she worked hard for other things. She worked hard for, I don't even know if they have kids. Do they have kids? She worked hard for whatever, their kids or whatever they did in the house. You know, keeping the family together and everything like that. She worked hard, but she didn't work hard for the income. And I'm sure, I don't know if they have kids, but I'm sure in a lot of families, the moms are usually more invested in the kids. In a lot of families, I'm not saying all the families, and if you're different, please don't tell me your stupid ass stories about your family and kids, because I don't want to hear it. But in a lot of families, in a lot of traditional families, because I grew up in a lot of traditional families, the moms tend to be more invested in the kids. And I don't care about your stupid story, but a lot of families where the moms are more invested in the kids than the dad is, it's because the mom spent more time around the kids. Like, the kids are a product of her sweat and tears and just being there all day, every day with the kids, taking them to school, bringing them home, cooking them dinner, worrying about them when they're sick and taking them to the doctor every day. Oh my God, like, my kid got an F in school. What am I supposed to do? Oh my God, my kid was beating up another kid. Oh God, my kid is coming home with a bunch of bruises everywhere and bleeding because some kid punched him in the face and all his teeth are knocked out. Now I have to take him to the doctor and find out like how many fake teeth I have to put on him, or whether it's a baby teeth or not. My mom took me to the dentist one time, and my mom took me with my siblings one time, and stop telling me my stories are stupid. If you don't want to hear my stories, get off my timeline. Go away. I don't want to hear you coming on my timeline complaining about my stories. This is my platform. Go and start your own freaking Periscope and go there and talk to whoever it is that cares about your stupid stories, okay? I'm telling you my story, okay? When a mom is doing all that shit and taking care of the kids 24/7 every second of the day, waking up in the middle of the night to feed, to nurse a kid, oh yeah, dad do that too. Well, moms are the ones who like lactate and have to do that, right? When it's like that, the dads aren't as invested. However much they pretend to be, they're not as invested. They're not as invested as the kids are, as the moms are, because it's just natural. If the dad, I'm not talking about everyone. I'm just talking about dads who are never home. I'm just talking about dads that are never home. I'm not talking about you. You're a great dad. You're the best dad ever. I don't want to hear your stupid story, but whatever, okay? If dad exhibit A that is not you, okay? Dad who is out every single day, never spent a day at home with their kids. In many cases, the dads are away for weeks. I met this lady whose husband was away for 6 months. 6 months, okay? in a totally different country, and she comes home like twice a year. He comes home like twice a year. Hello, children. Okay? They basically don't have a dad. Why is that dad going to be invested in the kids as much as the wife? It doesn't make sense. He won't be. Okay? He won't. It just doesn't make sense. And by the way, I said this about dads. No one was paying attention because they were so focused on what I said about moms. Gosh, you're all so sensitive for women. Like, it's such a virtue signal. It's like when you say something about men, you could say the same exact thing about a guy and say the same exact thing about a woman, a girl. So Life Elsewhere says, what brought this on? I was commenting about Jeff Bezos and his ex, because his ex gave half his ex got half of his fortune, and then he gave half of her fortune that she got from him to charity. I was saying Jeff Bezos would never do that. Jeff Bezos would never give half his fortune to charity because Jeff Bezos actually worked for that money, and he blood, sweat, tears for that money, okay? So Jeff Bezos is never gonna give half his fortune to charity. So, but anyways, that's what brought up the conversation. But you can make the same exact comment about men, the same exact comment about women, and everyone will latch on to the women comment because you literally can't say anything about women. They will go nuts. You can't say anything about women because they will only latch on to the women comment, and then they will turn the conversation. So I was just literally talking about housewives all week because these stupid, sneaky, evil people they pick the conversation and made it about women, and then it ended up just being about women. Okay? They just harped on the housewives, and the whole thing was all about women, and it was like, I'm just attacking women. I said the same thing about men. It's okay to knock down men, though. It's fine. You can't say anything. You can't say anything. Okay, Black Martyr, okay? If you don't enjoy this, you should leave. You should get out and unfollow me and get off my feed. Why do I have so many people on my feed, like, who insist on watching? You're just, like, obsessed with me. You're just, like, sitting here and watching. But you're just complaining the whole time about how I'm so boring and how you don't care about anything I'm saying and you don't want to listen. It's like, if you don't listen, you can go home. Go to your stupid, like, boring life with your stupid, boring spouse and your kids that you probably don't like because you're sitting here watching me instead. Go home. Don't stop trying to stop being here. Like, just don't like watch all my feeds and be obsessed with my feeds and just be here the whole time just so you can tell me, like, the entire time about how you don't care and don't want to listen to anything I have to say. If you don't care and don't listen to anything I say, it's Friday night, okay? Friday night people go out. If you're actually here, like, watching this feed, it means that you probably care enough to watch it. So, for whatever reason, you're just here on a Friday night. Apparently, you have a whole family that you love so much, and you're spending them here. You're spending it instead of spending with your beautiful family that you worked so hard for, okay? You're spending it here watching my live stream and not going out on Friday night just because you just wanted to be here and watch my entire live stream just so you can tell me how, like, little you care. It's like, go. I can't believe some of you are adults. Like if I say stupid shit, it makes sense because I'm, like, immature and not married and all that shit. But you're an adult and you're saying this kind of, and you're an adult and you're being this dumb. It's like, come on, dude, go to your, go be home with your children that you love so much, okay? Go home and be with them, and stop watching this. Okay, if your kids are watching, then I'm so sorry for saying bad words. I will not say bad words again. Even though they probably use bad words whenever they want, whenever you're not watching, so fine. Okay. Well, that's the end of our stream. I had so much fun with you guys. So much fun. I actually really enjoy these. Like, I even enjoy the trolls because you make me feel relevant. You make me feel relevant enough that you're coming here to tell me how much you don't care about me. It actually makes me feel really cared for. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Like, you really make me feel relevant, and you are the light that makes me want to keep going. Even if I don't have anything to do that day that I love. I mean, I have everything. I have a lot of things to do, but even if sorry, it's cough. Okay, so even if I am just having like a sucky day and I don't want to do anything that day, like, I want to do these streams because it's great. So Savage Henry says that he missed the first part. I don't even remember. What were we talking about? We were talking about how DC sucks and everybody has mental problems and is an alcoholic. And no soul. Oh, and how I ended up here in DC. Yeah. How we ended up here. Felix, how do I still have a cough? It's because at first it was a cough because I had a cold. I was in London, but then it became I came back here and I got allergies because it's really bad allergy season in DC. So anyway, that's it for tonight. It's going to be a whole weekend before I come back. Monday evening at 8 p.m. It's usually not 8 p.m. on the dot, but it's like I always aim for 8 p.m. It always ends up being like at not earlier than 8:30. But I'll be here next week, Monday. I will have moved, which I'm really excited about. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on Periscope, you better subscribe to my YouTube channel. I see every single one of your names. If I don't see you on my YouTube channel subscribed, I will, like, I don't know what I will do. I will be very mad at you. I will call you out by name and tell you how, I will point you out and tell you why aren't you subscribed to my YouTube channel. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will share the link on Twitter, and I will also, also like, and share. And see you later on Monday night. Go and be with your children and your families. By the way, like I'm dissing a lot of these parents and stuff, but I definitely want to have a lot of kids too, you know, in the future. I want to have like 1 million kids. I actually never say how many kids I want to have because I don't want to freak people out, especially not men. Like if you tell a guy here in DC that you want kids, it's like they get horrified. You're not supposed to say that. You're not even supposed to talk. You're not even supposed to say the word marriage because it makes them like horrified. Like I remember telling a guy that I was telling my guy friend about how, like, you know, about this other guy about my whatever. You can't say anything about marriage because they will freak out. So I actually don't tell people how many kids I want to have. Not even women. Like, I don't tell anybody how many kids I want to have because they will literally freak out. And I'm serious about this. Like, I've always wanted the same number of kids forever. And I actually recently met a guy who wanted that same, he's like, yeah, I want X amount of kids. And I was just like, holy shit, are you for real? And I didn't even say it, but that was exactly the amount of kids I wanted. And I was just like, wow, like, it's very, very, very rare. Very rare for guys in this cold, soulless, mentally insane, dense people city. It's very rare to find people who want children, especially not the amount of children that I want. So I support family life. Nope, not 4. Go higher. I support family life. I support you being a housewife and being there for your kid. I support you being a working dad and supporting your family. I don't want to hear your stupid stories though, and I don't want to hear you on my timeline complaining about something that you don't understand. But anyway, if you did not listen to the earlier part of the stream, I recommend you go listen to it. King Destroyer, higher. Okay, so I'm not gonna say how many kids, but it's a lot. Okay. I will not raise them all myself, though. I will force my future husband to do a lot of the heavy lifting. So don't get too excited about my ambitions. Okay, so see you all Monday. See you all Monday night. Join us 8 p.m. regular time for our streams, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video. Heart like. Okay, bye.